Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Natalia here again from the channel Cookielicious NZ. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cute bookworm brittle. What you'll need for this project is some sugar cookies that has been cut out using a printed template. I'll have a link in the description box below for you to create these templates, and all you need to do is print them and cut the shape of brittle using a sharp knife or an Exacto knife. And I also cut out a few different sections of brittle just to make it easier to decorate the cookies a bit later on, and I will show you this in the tutorial coming up. And for this particular project, I'll also be using a red edible paint and a food safe brush to apply it onto a cookie. And as usual, I'll also be using an edible marker to mark the guidelines onto my cookies. These are food safe markers and specially created for this kind of projects. As well as a Scribe tool, which is a needle tool to smooth out my icing and help shape the icing around the cookies. These are the icing with the colors that you'll need for this project, and if you're looking for a royal icing recipe, you'll find it in the description box below. Okay, let's get started on the decorating process. Use an edible marker and the cut out templates that I showed you earlier to mark out the areas for his face, body, mouth, and glasses first. Also mark the areas for his graduation cap, and don't forget the tassel. Then draw the details for his thick rim glasses. On some part of these, it's easy enough to manually outline the rim of his glasses. Then followed by his wings and antenna. Okay, so once we've done all the markings, this is where we use the red edible paint and a brush to paint it onto his mouth area. Now let's start piping with the burgundy icing to decorate his body. Use outline consistency and then fill one side with the medium consistency icing. Then fill one of his tooth with white icing, and then use a purple icing to outline and fill the top of his graduation cap and one of the rim of his glasses. Once you've done that, let the icing crust over. Next, fill the remaining part of his body, and then fill his other tooth with white icing, followed by a purple icing for the other rim of his glasses, then the bottom section of his graduation cap. Okay, so when that part has crusted over, fill the middle section of his graduation cap. You can use a Scribe tool if needed to shape the icing, and for little sections like this, it's quite handy to use it. Then use the same purple icing to create the outer and the inner rim of his glasses. Now pipe gray icing to fill his face, and carefully use the Scribe tool to help shape the icing around the mouth area. Also, just to let you know that if I don't mention the type of icing consistency that I'm using, that just means that I'm using medium consistency icing. This will make it easier for me to explain the process without having to repeat myself throughout the tutorial. And while you're using the gray icing, don't forget the little section on the top of his head, and then let it crust over. Now pipe outline consistency yellow icing to create the long line for the tassel. Then fill his wings with light blue icing. And then use the same light blue icing to fill the middle section of his glasses. And while the icing is still wet, add black icing to create his eye. And then add a small dot of white icing to create the reflection on his eye. And once you've done that, you can repeat the same process for the other eye. And lastly, don't forget to use the yellow outline consistency icing to pipe the end of the tassel. Then pipe the purple icing to create the side of the glasses. And then use a black edible marker to mark the four legs evenly. Then once you've done that, go over it with black icing. And while we're using the black icing, don't forget to fill his antenna as well, and then let the icing crust over. And now this section is to create his cute trumpet nose. Use one of the little templates to draw a rough guideline of the nose with an edible marker, and then fill it with the gray icing. And while we wait for that icing to crust over, pipe a purple icing to create a joint or a connector on his glasses. After the icing for his nose has crusted, pipe gray outline consistency icing to create the details on his cute trumpet nose. And lastly, use the same gray icing to create a line on the side of his mouth, and then pipe black icing connecting to that line to create one of his hands. So there you have it, an adorable bookworm brittle. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like it, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to Best Fiends for more cool videos like this. If you want to see more of my cookie tutorials, then head over to my channel at CookieLiciousNZ. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.